your citizens will know exactly what you're doing, and this will establish some kind of trust between you and them. This will help the government to be more efficient and transparent. The next slide, please. What about the private sector? What about the benefits? Basically, we're talking about money here, making money, and you might be surprised that in some estimates in the United States, for example, that their weather information industry, worth billions of dollars. A lot of businesses, small and medium and big businesses, they just get around this information. They have it somewhat making money out of it, as I said. Probably the easiest example that I can give in this area, how those private sector companies just think of a GPS system that most of us use and millions of people around the world use. These systems are basically built on, in most cases, in government information. Private sector add value to it, they package it in a way, and then they sell it for us. And just think about how many GPS systems are around the world and how much money was made because of that. To end this, my point about private sector, look at the statistics from the UK. In 2006, we don't really have more recent statistics about it as comprehensive. Where 39 businesses there, they said that they use government public domain information for their own purposes. 28 they use to produce products, what I just talked about, and 44% they use it as an input to produce products for industry. So this is a huge area of profit for the private sector and for the government. Next slide, please. Citizens. This is the area that is very dear to my heart, and I believe personally that this is the most important area when it comes to access to government information. If you make your citizens more informed about their lives and about their decisions and more innovative, basically you are creating a sustainable knowledge society where things become. But if you want me to give you some example, government information is very important for everyday decisions that we make. For example, buying a house, you need to know information about property taxes, you need to know information about schools for your kid, about crime rate, about, is it a 1 for flooding? Is it how much snow that get here? Like when I lived in Syracuse, we have snow there basically for like 8 months a year. So all this information is important for you to make more informed decisions. You should not work with thanks, Dad. Okay, yeah, sorry. So the last point I'm trying to make is about science. Again, this is a long list of benefits. I don't really want to go through, but just think about it. More information available for scientific communities advance science. And when science is advanced in any society, this means that our lives and our conditions are improved. I'll leave it to you to read this list, and if you have any questions about it, I'll be happy to come back to you, just in the interest of time. Next slide, please. So now, actually, evidence from the literature and from experiences from the OECD countries, I would say mainly, unfortunately, value of government information in developing world. I would like to link it to my own research, where I basically address this issue. Let me just give you a quick background. I've been working in this area for 10 years, and unfortunately, discussions in these meetings are a second point that I've noticed is that in most of these meetings, discussions are about how to make money, how to commercialize publicity. So in 2008, I co-organized a workshop with the OECD in France on the value of public sector information. And again, I noticed that the issue of Africa or developing countries was not really mentioned. The issue of the non-commercial value is not really addressed properly. So I said, you know what, I will do that. I will take the discussion about these issues to Africa, and I will focus on the non-commercial value of government information. So I went to South Africa for 6 months. I did my data collection there. I was hosted by the Human Sciences Research Council, and Development Bank of Southern Africa, DPSA, and Mr. Jihad. But I introduced researchers. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Raed, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Raed, we just had to wrap up there, unfortunately. If you just want to just conclude with the presentation, I think we've got good context from you. But if you can, maybe just wrap up from your side.
Absolutely. Just give me 2 to 3 minutes maximum. Is that okay?
I can give you 2.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so again, I did my research in South Africa, and I would like to share with you only 2 of my findings in the interest of time, but I'll be happy to share with you more if you would like. When I asked researchers who work on social and economic development research in South Africa and those organizations about their perception about this information, this is the statistics what I got from them. 72% of them, they said that it's extremely important, and again, I have more information about this for their work. And if you can read this quote from a prominent researcher in the food security area, it speaks well about this importance. Then I asked, next slide please. Then I asked him about what purposes do they use this information. They use it for orientation. They use it for identifying best practices, and next slide please, for prioritization and planning purposes and awareness raising. Again, in my dissertation that I'm about to finish in a few months now, I also have information about obstacles for access to information. Although South Africa has an Access to Information Act, you'll be surprised to hear there are a lot of obstacles. And what was surprising to me and interesting at the same time, most of these obstacles relate to people there. It's a sociocultural obstacle where it's all about power, it's all about positions and other things. I also talked about the quality of government information, and I also had some interesting findings about how people perceive the reliability of this information. Before I wrap, I would like to mention that I've presented this paper that in front of you in the car a few years ago. It's probably the only paper that covers the importance of information in Africa, and it details most of the stuff that I talked about, so I really encourage you to go and check it out. Next slide, we can see here, and my last point is that we are convinced and we would like to put our information online, but we have some information that we want to keep restricted for some reason. The guidelines, the UNESCO guidelines, do not recommend this approach, but if it is necessary, they provide also a model, a perfect licensing model or open access model for this restricted information in a way. The best example that I would like to mention here is Australia. Only this year, earlier this year, the federal government decided to use Creative Commons licensing for their government information. So also you can check this out. At the end of my slides, the one before the last, we have a list of this. You can look at them, and also I would like to mention the OECD Public Sector Information Policy Principles that confirm what I've said about UNESCO. And I believe that would be it. I would like to thank you for your time. I'm sorry if I took more time.
No, Raed, thank you very much for a very interesting presentation there on those guidelines for governments.